Dude, I do not know what solution to do because I had the idea to do some solutions, but then I woke up this morning and my girlfriend says, "Happy Earth Day," and I'm like, "Damn, it's Earth Day."
Today's Earth Day?
Yeah, I guess today's Earth Day.
You didn't wish me a happy Earth Day.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay,
We're getting around to it.
All right.
Happy Earth Day.
Thank
Got you.
you.
A card, a plushie. No, I didn't
Thank
get
you. Which Earth? This one?
This Earth.
Okay.
Yeah. Not Terra.
Right.
Terra.
Okay, cool.
That Terra. Remember how Terra is the name of our planet?
Didn't the moon also have a different name before
Luna.
it smashed into us?
Oh, no. I think our moon has a different name because moon is not the name of a celestial body.
Right.
Moon is referential to the planet you're on. So its name is Luna. Isn't that right? Our moon's name is Luna.
I'll trust you.
Just like Titan is
it.
like a moon of Saturn, and
Yeah, you don't go to the water and be like, "Oh, this is ocean." You're like, "This is the Pacific Ocean."
Right,
exactly.
right. Same thing, moon.
Yeah, because Jupiter has a bunch of moons, Saturn, all that.
I said this before, and Earth also is referential to the planet you're on, and therefore our planet has a different name. I think it's Terra, at least it's sort of Latinate. Maybe the Chinese have a different name or something.
Doesn't person work like that too? The word person. So like if you had aliens, they would also be persons, but they're not. They're not human. You know
I think
what I mean?
person means
People,
person has a very specific legal term meaning.
Like an individual or
person means you can speak in court.
Okay,
I think that's what it means. Persone. It means like by sound.
So if we call aliens persons, then
we would be recognizing
court.
Yeah, we'd be recognizing that they have some standing as individuals. Yeah, if we met like an interstellar slime mold, then it would only be person one because it would have one standing.
Can you imagine
itself?
First contact is aliens coming to bring like a suit in our civil courts. They've been watching us to figure out our legal system, and they're like, "Oh, if we are called persons, we can sue them for all the space trash they've been leaving around their planet." Like that's the first contact is people going like,
"We are persons.
You know what?
We are persons.
Clean your planet up, dude. What are you guys doing?"
Also, we're gonna soon have like AI that are like, they also will become persons eventually. And they'll be. I think we can't call them robots anymore because that's derogatory. We got to call them electrical beings, EBs.
EBs.
I'm just making that up, but it wouldn't that be good? Electrical beings because that's what they are. They're electrical.
What about the steampunk robots that are like coal powered?
The steam. Yeah, then they'd be.
There's a group of like West Virginia robots who are just like, no, coal. We got to do coal.
Clean coal robots.
Clink. We like coal.
We are coal.
coal bots. You ready to talk about buns?
Let's bun it up. We got 2 hot custard buns here that I made. I made homemade custard buns. Yeah, I've been buying these buns from the like Chinese grocery store, and they're delicious. I eat them for dessert basically, but they're not too sweet, which I don't really like super sweet things. So they're not super sweet, but they're super like have a great mouthfeel and they taste good. And they're warm, like you steam them, so they're warm. It's kind of comforting.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I wonder, things are usually better when you make them by hand. And I was like, oh, and there's a bunch of plastic packaging. And I was like, maybe I could just make like 20 of these and freeze them. And it would maybe only take like an hour to do and it'd be fun. So I tried yesterday and it was pretty fun. It's a yeast bread, which I didn't realize.
Okay.
Yeast breads are kind of annoying to make because you have to like make them and then you have to let them cool rise and then you have to deal with them. They're kind of annoying. I thought it was shortbread, which
that's really good.
Oh,
yeast
you
bread,
like it?
Thumbs up. Man.
Oh yeah, it is. They are pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good. But it's like the simplest bread you can possibly make. It's literally like flour, yeast, and a little bit of salt, and that's it. Water or whatever.
No, these are really good. Thank you. So Adam steamed up some buns that he had made himself, and now we have them to power us through the episode.
Oh yeah, they are pretty good.
Oh, it's really good.
I froze these. And they still cooked up pretty good.
Now, chewing on mic is not everyone's favorite thing, but
I'll turn it away.
We'll be done with this in a minute, so just fast forward.
Yeah, fast forward. Maybe
some people chewing on mic might be their favorite thing. Maybe that's true. This is the piece we've been missing.
ASMR.
Like,
I'm just scratching the microphone now. I think something like 14% of the population who's listening just got frisons on their necks because as soon as they hear this ASMR sound, makes them have frisons. Okay, today's Earth Day.
Earth Day.
I have an Earth Day solution. I'll just launch right into it.
What is it?
Oh wait, we've been stopping to do like the welcome. We should do the welcome.
Do the welcome.
Okay. Hey there, everyone. My name's Adam Browse.
And I'm Scott Maupin.
And this is Solutions from the Multiverse, the podcast where we jump through a portal into another universe where a problem that we have has already been solved. We clock what that project is, and then or what that solution is, and we bring it back into this universe. And we're like, whoa, you'd never expect, but in this other universe here, they already solved it. Here's the solution.
Adam has gone to universes and grabbed these solutions, and he is selfishly keeping them all to himself, but he's agreed to give them out one by one here once a week on this episode.
So long as the money keeps coming in. Continue to send the checks.
So I'm here prodding him to do that, because otherwise we don't get the solutions, and he goes, no, I'm keeping them, and he goes to his grave with them all in a book.
Yeah, we don't want that. I've written them all down, so if I die, someone can just access them.
Okay. You'll let someone have the keys to the multiverse?
Yes, keys to the multiverse. The portal gun. But I will say, someone pointed out to me about this podcast that they said, oh, you're a professor, Scott's a comedian. That's the dynamic. And I was like, oh. So yeah, people who are just listening to the podcast for the first time or have been listening for a while and haven't realized, I'm a professor at a college, and that's why I have all these like weird ideas, I guess, or something. And Scott's an amazing podcast producer and comedian, and that's why he's so much funnier than I am.
You don't think people were worried that they were going to think that I was a professor at a college?
Well, I just think people were worried, like they were thinking like, Browse sounds like just a normal idiot man too, just like Scott. So why is he always the one doing the ideas?
No, you're a more educated idiot man.
I'm an educated idiot man, exactly. Actually, I don't have very much education. I'm only finishing my master's degree in 2 weeks. I will then have a master's degree.
Well, pre-congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It was very exciting.
Super big waste of time. But
But
I will have letters at the end of my name now. Master. And I'll have long sleeves on my gown when I graduate. You get long sleeves.
You get longer sleeves the more degrees you have?
No, just the masters. You get a long sleeve.
Okay.
And then PhD, have you seen what they wear?
Do they get
goes crazy.
Special hat?
Oh my God.
Neck?
Whole different gown.
A suit of armor? Do they get a whole suit of metal armor? Clank, clank, clank. What's going on? Oh, Dr. Graves over there just got his PhD. He gets to wear the armor. He gets his armor suit today. Clank, clank.
Oh, wow, that guy's really smart. But yeah, PhDs wear this whole regalia thing. They get like a floppy hat and like they look like a wizard. Okay, here's our solution for today. All mass transit should be free.
Yes.
Done. Okay, well, next solution. Okay.
Done.
Honestly,
Over.
we could do it. We could do double because I think that there's a one that goes along with this.
No, wait, how would that work? Okay, I understand the desire for it, obviously.
Okay, first of all, it's actually not a totally new idea. Kansas City already did this.
Heck yeah.
2019, it's already
good job.
Mass transit's free in Kansas City. You just walk on a bus, boom. Walk on a train, done. It's all free. It's all just free.
Are there were there that many trains in Kansas City? I guess so, a little bit.
Probably some regional, whatever.
I'm not pondering for no reason. I grew up in a suburb of Kansas City. So.
Yeah, I think it's mostly buses in Kansas City. But
yeah, I would agree.
San Francisco, not the case. Very expensive, actually. It's like $250 something, $225.
Coming over here on BART from the East Bay, I'm spending like $5-6 for each way. Yeah, yeah,
and I mean, obviously, the wealthiest people don't take mass transit generally, right? So it's essentially something for people who are, like me, not the wealthiest people. I mean, I don't have a car, so I use mass transit all the time.
Or people who are passionate about, saving the environment like you are. Yeah, and you were telling me about e-bikes and electric vehicles and trains. We are always pro all the things that don't wreck the planet just for transporting a person to a place.
Right. So here's some of the things that people might not understand about this idea. Because on the face of it, it sounds like, well, that's just going to be too expensive. It's like the classic Republican or like even
how would it work?
How do you pay for it?
The money?
Says, how do you pay for it?
Right.
Oh, you want Medicare for all. How do you pay for it? Not knowing that actually Medicare for all is way cheaper than our current healthcare system.
In the long run, sure.
Not even the long run.
It pays for
tomorrow.
itself.
Tomorrow it'd be cheaper. Like the day you'd start saving money. Mm-hmm. So it's not like solar panels where you're like, in 20 years it'll pay for it. Like, no, it's like literally the next day it's cheaper. The same thing people don't understand about mass transit. So I was looking up, for example, San Francisco's bus system. But this is true, I think, for almost all systems. fares are less than a fifth of the revenue.
Really?
Yeah. It's almost entirely tax funded.
Huh.
Yeah.
Already almost entirely tax funded.
Yeah. So you don't need fares. And not only that, you have to collect fares.
Yeah.
And you have to police fare beating.
Right.
That costs money. I actually read a report that was done. It was done 15 years ago, so it might not be current now, but it probably is, where they found out that the cost of collecting fares and policing fare beatings was equal to the amount of revenue gathered by fares in San Francisco.
So it offsets everything you've done positive.
So you could just say you have free transit and it would have minimal, I mean, there would be some marginal, maybe positive or maybe negative, but
right.
It would only marginally affect the actual finances of the system to just eliminate all fares.
Some people are like, you can't just let people ride for free because then that will take away all the money that the ticket sale.
They think
but really
100% is coming from the fares.
But they really want to punish the people who are getting away with something, and they're like, that's not fair. Let's punish them.
I guess. So here's so that's one idea.
And I bear it, like, every time I ride BART, I feel like I see people who just slip through the turnstiles. They just hop them on the way out. I'm like, okay.
That's what they're doing right now. BART is about to invest who knows how many millions of dollars to update every single turnstile to be impossible to like jump through like that. It'd be like a spinny thing where you can't go through it. Or other solution, eliminate the turnstiles. Just have it be a zero fare system.
Yeah.
Stop collecting fares. And now you don't need you need BART police to protect everyone there, but you don't need anyone to be giving out fines.
Right.
And people might think, oh, well, the fines must make a lot of money. No, not compared to the salaries of the people you have to pay to give the fines. Way more. Yeah. You have to pay those people get paid, $100,000 plus benefits to be BART officials.
Right.
That they do not collect $100,000 plus benefits worth of fines every year.
And some people are like running away or acting shifty because they're like, oh, I don't want to get caught doing the wrong thing. And if there's no wrong thing to get caught doing, that's gone too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, people just use it as a function of the city.
Yeah, exactly. And people say, oh, there'll be a lot of homeless people sleeping in there. Well, that might be another problem. Like, that might be a different problem that has different solutions. But the solution is not to again, throw good money after bad. Like, to continue to ramp up a kind of fair system that is only a waste of money. Okay, so here's the other thing. I don't have a car, but I sometimes rent a car through the app Get Around. There's also Turo. They're great.
Little zip cars.
You can use Zipcar. I don't use Zipcar because it's like a membership thing, and I don't use that. But I use Get Around because it's just easy. Bam. Just open my phone, and there's like 6 cars around my house that I can use. And anyways, so I go and use the car. And you know what's the weird thing? I don't pay anything. I mean, I pay Get Around. I pay the person who owns that car. I pay for gas. I pay for parking. But you know what I don't pay? To use the roads.
Right.
Weird, right?
Because that's taxes. And
isn't that weird?
Stuff.
We already run a fare-free road system. So why is it fare-free to carry a 2,000-pound metal carapace around, but it's not free to carry a 200-pound flesh carapace around? It's, you know what I mean?
What's a carapace? Okay.
Like a bug's exoskeleton is like a carapace. Obviously, we don't have flesh carapaces. That's a horrific thing of nightmares.
Yeah, guys, Adam does not have a flesh carapace.
I'm looking.
Just letting you know.
He just has
don't turn the podcast off
endoskeleton
because you're worried about the Event Horizon situation going on with my co-host. It's not happening.
Such a good movie. Who knew space horror would be so good? Such a good movie.
But okay, so you make the stuff free, and then hopefully more people use it. More people discover, hey, this is kind of useful. It expands. You get like
I can sell one of my cars.
Oh yeah, and people are using this, and it's just a nice. I like it. Are there downsides? What's the resistance?
Critics. Yeah, so critics say that Kansas City has not a very good bus system, and it's cheap. It was only $1.25 or $1.50 to ride.
Right.
And they said the ridership is low because it's not very good quality. If you make it free, all you're going to do is make it so there's just crappy bus services for everyone. They should keep charging and then use those fares to improve the system. New buses, more bus lines, more. Okay. This is like from the, I mean, I don't want to totally malign people, but this is a right-wing, car-centric argument.
Yes.
This is suburban. This is not like the downtown people who use the bus every day. They're like, yeah, free fares. That sounds great. So, but here's the thing. The problem with that argument is, like I said, most systems are spending close to as much. I mean, San Francisco, it's as much. I know because I read that report, but I'm sure other cities it's near. It costs money to collect fares, and the fares are only a small fraction of your revenue. Most of it's tax revenue. So actually, if you stop getting fares, you're not actually, it's not like, oh, you're giving away some big pot of money. You're just stopping to do the thing that's blocking the most vulnerable people and harming the most vulnerable people. Okay, I have a story.
Okay.
I was on the bus, and
Here in San Francisco?
Okay. I was on the bus, and some people got on the bus to like give people tickets. They like stopped the bus. The bus like pulled over at a station, and they were like controlled everyone for tickets. Okay. All the like techie people with like iPhone 14 Pros were fine. We had all buzzed our phones on the nice new fancy fare thing. Okay. Who all got $300 tickets? Yeah. Like Hispanic, like single moms and with snot-nosed kids running around. And
people who didn't have that all.
Exactly. Because they just say, I just live here. I need to take the bus. I just take the bus. I'm not going to spend $1,000 a year on the bus when my income's $15,000 a year, or $22,000 a year. So fares themselves are already like deeply regressive, or I should say fare policing is already deeply regressive. The fares themselves are regressive because if I make 5 times more than the person next to me, I don't pay any more for the fare, even though it's actually helping me enormously more than them financially to be transported. Right?
Yeah.
So the whole thing is deeply regressive and should just be eliminated. You should just have, fantastic bus services. So the other side of this sort of car Republican sort of, not just Republicans, there's lots of left-wing people who are super pro-car, and God help you, because we can't have cars anymore. We should have never really had them in the first place. But the problem with this is they say, well, you should improve Kansas City's bus system with that money. So first of all, there is no extra money because the cost to collect fares is almost equal to the amount of fares you collect. So that's already a myth. But the second part is also a myth. This is like the 2 lies are better than 1 here. The second part's also a myth. You need money from fares to make the bus system better. False. The same law that they passed to get rid of fares, they committed tens of millions of more dollars to the bus system, added multiple 24-hour bus lines, bought a bunch of buses. Like they did it. It doesn't matter about the fares. It matters as if you care about building a society that's green, sustainable, and lovely. I mean, it's lovely to have lovely, nice public transit that you can just walk to and use. So the idea that like you need the fare, it's really just like, it's like bullshit, like lies, like all the way down.
Right.
Any argument really against just getting rid of fares and have it be a public good. Public transit is a public good. Omnibus, the word bus comes from the Latin word omnibus, for all of us.
Yeah.
For all of us.
It does. I mean,
or for all of them.
We're in this society where it's like everything. You got to figure out how to profit off of everything. But when you sit back and think about buses and trains, you're like, oh, you're profiting off of moving a person from this place to this place where they need to go to do something. Like, can we just make that a thing?
Yeah.
We go?
Or the flip side is, sure, okay, let's do this. But now every time a car is driving, they need to pay $250. Like when you drive to work, you have to pay $250 to the city for driving on the roads because we build the roads, we sustain the roads. We keep
that would get people to take more action because
maybe
they're
we
like,
should
no.
Yeah,
because more people get insular with their cars and just get into car culture or whatever.
Right.
Car culture is so huge here.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
If you're going to if we're going to keep fares for buses, then we need to add fares for cars. They do it in Singapore. You get a little tracker thing, and then every 150 meters, there's like a thing over the top that scans everybody's car.
Really?
And it's literally throughout all of Singapore, anywhere you drive, you're paying as you go. It's like you're in a taxi no matter what. Like even if it's your car, you're paying just to drive on the roads. We should have that too. I'm not for that, but what I'm saying is let's not do that, and let's also not have fares for buses and trains.
So you're either going to offer one good idea or two bad ideas.
Exactly. An equally bad idea to counteract the bad idea of having fares. Yeah.
It's like your choice.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah. So I want to go like a level deeper here though.
Okay. Do it.
So I feel like when we talk about like the climate, it's always posed as like, or transit stuff, it's always proposed as like a sacrifice, like a moral sacrifice. Like, oh, I will sacrifice my well-being for the planet. Okay. This is complete hogwash. And I'll prove it to you in hopefully a very compelling way. To the whole audience. I want everyone to think and list out for themselves. And you can pause the podcast after I ask and take a time to actually think about this if you like. I want you to list out the times and places in your life when you were like the most relaxed, happy, and connected. So the happiest you've ever been.
Okay.
Happy, connected, relaxed.
Always on a public bus.
Not a public.
Is that what you were wondering?
No.
Might not
be a public bus.
Okay.
So we'll let people pause and think about it. Okay, you can pause here, and then we'll come back. Okay, we're back now. You've thought about what place you felt the most calm, connected, safe. Okay, I'm going to propose that this was in a car-free environment. I'm going to propose that you were either on a campus in college. A lot of people report college as their happiest time of their life. Okay. No cars. You're on a college. That's what college campuses are. They're right. Other people might say Disneyland. A lot of people say Disneyland was I'm really happy at Disneyland.
Right.
Guess what? Car-free environment.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to say I was on the beach in Costa Rica for 2 weeks surfing and hanging out on the beach. Guess what? You're not interacting with cars. You're just hanging out on the beach. You know, you walk to the grocery store, you're not getting in your car every day. I propose that the elimination of cars is not a sacrifice. It is a total improvement to human life.
Well, you didn't ask me where I was. I was at the Indy 500, and there were actually a lot of cars, and they were really loud.
Jesus Christ.
No. Okay. I hear you.
I hear you. That's funny. Some people would say that. That's fine. Those people can go to the Indy. I'm not saying we should abolish cars. I'm just saying
those people definitely pay to drive.
Transit.
They pay to have their own cars.
That's right. But anyway, so that's I think hopefully a proof to people that it's not a sacrifice for us to move to a lovely society where you don't have to constantly get inside of your 2,000-pound metal carapace.
Well, let me put on my naysayer hat.
Yeah, please.
What are you going to do with the poor people on the bus who now have to be there while I'm singing Taylor Swift at the top of my lungs, which I used to do in the comfort and seclusion of my own car, and now they have to listen to it. How does this work?
I think we have to have another episode for that.
Do I have to wear like a
solution,
like a plastic box on my head, a soundproof box on my head?
Okay.
You know what? Yeah. Actually, we might be able to develop that and sell them for podcasters. People wear these boxes on their heads that are soundproof so they can talk while they're on public transit.
You know, some people listen to so many solutions from the multiverse episodes over and over again that they can actually speak along with the episode. It's really uncanny. Have you seen them doing that?
No.
They're like, oh, and they do like a Scott voice. And I went to the Indy 500, and it's along with our episodes because they've been like listening to it so many times over and over.
I know that actors have been taking it like excerpts from our podcast and using them as reads when they're auditioning for roles at different Hollywood things. Like they're like, I'm doing a monologue from Solutions episode 39. And
Solutions episode 39, classic.
And they're like, here it is, and begin. And then at the end they go, and scene. And everyone's in tears, and they're applauding and stuff. And they're like, you get the movie.
You know, these solutions are great for like public policy and, elimination of poverty and all the, terrible things in our life. But I think our contribution to culture is really...
That's where the long-standing legacy is going to be.
That's where the legacy
for sure.
Is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Undoubtedly.
Yeah. Public policy, that goes with the news.
Man,
news cycle.
Governments fall. Governments come. It's all
Shakespeare last.
Still, nobody.
John Donne.
What? Who?
The poet. Oh, damn it. Okay.
Shakespeare. I had. I'm out after that.
Sorry. I went way down in the famous.
There was nobody who wrote anything before Shakespeare, is my understanding. He was the person who invented writing.
Yeah. That's why he's so famous.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that in Shang-Chi, the Marvel movie, they had that they had that fight scene on the bus.
Uh-huh.
That was so awesome.
There's
That
a
was
lot
awesome.
of recent comic book movies destroying buses like that. That was in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange destroyed a bus in his most recent one.
Yeah.
Blue Beetle is a movie that's coming out, and there's in the trailer
Bus
he
stuff.
destroys a bus. He's
Are
like,
you into bus
bus
stuff, Scott?
I'm not into bus stuff,
No?
but I'm just noticing the movies that are destroying buses prominently now.
I'm into bus stuff.
You look like a bus guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I just now
Are
got
you
what
just
you're
getting
saying.
it?
I just now got it.
Wow.
Wow, that took me too long.
Yeah, that took a long time.
No, I'm not into bus stuff. Thank you.
Okay. That's what this episode's all about. That should be the title.
Bus stuff?
Bus stuff.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed that took me so long.
It did. You were going a long time, and I was laughing.
I was like, no, I'm into. Let me tell you about these comic book movies. I'm going to talk about comic book
comic
movies.
books have really
You're
good
like,
bus
did you
fights.
hear my 12-year-old joke? Ha ha ha.
I love democracy, but man, when I try to think about transit in the Bay Area, that's when I become a monarchist, just like that.
You just need a powerful person to make it happen.
Yep. I'll give up all my civil rights, just make all the transit sync together. Boom. Like that's the way to eliminate democracy in America, for me at least. It's just
It's someone who promises to make the trains run on time?
Yes.
This is okay. Well, there's a precedent.
No, they run trains on time already. I just want the no transfer fees.
Yeah.
They've talked about doing that recently, but they talk about a lot of things. The fact that it's 2023 and it's not there is like an atrocity, truly. So COVID, it used to be that they would give like 5,000 citations a month. Like that's what it used to be. I looked all this up. But now during COVID, they were giving 0 citations out because it was pandemic and there was
nobody was riding,
low ridership,
yeah.
and the people who were riding were like essential workers. You're not going to bother them,
yeah.
During the pandemic. And now they've increased it to about 900 citations a month. So they're doing like 5 times fewer than pre-COVID. And it's not really ramping. It's like they're just kind of hovering at that level.
Yeah.
And mass transit usage is back up to COVID levels or pre-COVID levels now. But I think we need, we should take that as an indication. Like, did the world end because we weren't giving out fare tickets? Like, no, it was fine. It didn't make any difference.
Yeah.
And even financially, it didn't make any difference because, like I said, they spend as much money collecting it as doing it. So they could just eliminate it all.
Well, and let's not stop these dominoes from falling. If you get more people to use mass transit because you make it better and you make it more attractive and more useful, and then there are fewer people driving cars, fewer emissions going into the world. Earth Day, we're doing an Earth thing and trying to be benefit.
And for people who do like cars, less traffic. More parking spots open. I mean, if you like cars, you should support this. Like, if you're like a diehard, like I will never stop driving, like pry the steering wheel from my cold dead hands. More power to you. Guess what? If we get 30% of people off the roads and using mass transit, you will have less traffic and more parking spots.
Yeah.
So
because some people definitely like their cars and like driving, but when you're in bumper to bumper traffic for an hour at rush hour, the majority of those people are not sitting there liking driving and liking being in their cars.
So I think this is a no. Like I obviously come out swinging. I don't have a car, and I want there to be no car. I'm
cars.
But
you go around smashing windows in cars and setting them on fire.
I don't do those things, but in my dreams,
very wise not to admit it.
But I will make common cause with the diehard car people and say, great, like this is absolutely in their interest as well. You don't ever have to take the bus, and this is still in your interest because there'll be a billion times more parking spots and there'll be no traffic because you get 10, 20, 30% of people to be taking the trains instead of the cars. That's going to have a huge effect on traffic, a huge effect.
Think about boating. Boating is fun because there aren't so many other boats around.
Traffic, right.
But if everybody had to have a boat and take their boat everywhere, you'd be like, oh, boating sucks now.
Yeah. Boat traffic.
But people, it's like that, except we're trying to move that way with cars and roads so that there's not. San Francisco, the Bay Area, it can be congestion at like 1 p.m. on a Tuesday for no reason out of nowhere. You're just like, oh, this highway is just
totally
bonked now. It's completely messed up.
Yeah.
And I don't, there's no rhyme or reason. I've seen traffic pop up in weird spots at weird times for no reason, no explanation.
Yeah.
It's just like, Yeah, man, it's just the Bay Area.
You know what they need? One more lane. If you just add one more lane.
If you just add one more.
Yeah, if you add one more. It's always...
Now they have a pay-to-drive lane where they have like... They're putting this far left lane where it'll charge you on the fast track per spot. So you're like, if you're willing to pay $6 or $7, you can blaze through a lot of the traffic. But that's just kind of like, like having a privilege system highway for people with money instead of fixing the thing for everybody. That's not great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in favor of charging again because it's free to ride on these highways cost billions of dollars a mile to make and maintain. Yeah. So like, why is it free to drive on them? Like, that's crazy, And people ask these bus systems to like make money, but they don't ask highway systems to make money. Like, does the I-80 make a profit?
That's a good point.
Why doesn't the I-80 make a profit?
It definitely has a cost.
And people will say gas taxes and they'll say blah, blah, blah. But there's no direct like fare, right? There's no fare. But sure, there's gas taxes. And you could say, well, that goes into the federal budget and the federal budget pays for I-80. So the gas taxes are paying for I-80. But not really. Not the way a fare pays.
Most highways are not toll where you get on, pay a thing to go a stretch.
Right. And people hate tolls. Don't
like them.
But I mean, the only reason they don't like tolls, I think, is because you have to like get into the weird big thing and stop and like pay the toll. Now with computers, you could just put a little, like the Singapores have, you just put a little thing in the scanner in the front of the car. And now everywhere you drive, there's just like even embedded, you can even embed it under the road. Everywhere you drive, there's like this thing that just reads that you drove by and charges you $5 because you went this 2 miles of road.
Well, that was a thing that COVID just eliminated right away was toll worker. Like the bridges were still manned by people collecting tolls up until COVID. Yeah. And then they're like, we can't be.
Now that everyone has fast
everyone's
track.
gone.
Yeah.
With fast track, you have to have it or they'll just they'll picture your license and send you a thing in the mail.
Right. And so that system, now that we have that with everyone, you could just you could just put that across the whole bay.
Yeah.
You could say everywhere you're driving, there could just be these things that over the top that are scanning all the fast tracks. And that would be good because now you'd be actually charging the cars for driving on the roads because there should be fares. I mean, if there's going to be fares for buses, there should be fares for cars driving. So many people are not going to like that.
It's not the fair part. I think some people will also not like the government is tracking where I go at all times on this car thing, even though you're like, well, the phone in my pocket is also tracking where I'm going, but let's forget about that. We just don't like people monitoring where I'm going and keeping a record of how many times I go to Pizza Hut or whatever.
Well, I mean, this is the thing I learned when I was in driver's ed. Driving a car is not a right. It's a privilege.
Right.
It's a privilege the government allows you to do.
Uh-huh.
And you have a license. And if the government ever decides you don't get that license, you have no right. Yep. You have no right to driving. And therefore, if you want to defend your privacy, maybe you shouldn't drive. Like if you're that much of a tinfoil hat nut job about your privacy, that or use somebody else's car, like register your car in your cousin's name and then they'll never know. I mean, there's ways
to steal a car.
Well, don't steal.
You're advocating for stealing cars and breaking windows.
Scott.
You're really anti-car. You're revealing it here.
I'm not total. Here's the thing. I was at a car show the other day.
What?
At a party. Yeah, it was really fun. And it was a great party.
A car show?
Here's the thing. I like cars when they are cars, like when they're beautiful machines and like they have all this history. And in the Mission, I live here in the Mission, they have this culture, especially for Latino people. There's this like awesome culture around cars and they're pieces of art and they're beautiful and they're cool and they're useful, they're functional, they're great. Taxis, everything's great. The problem is just the mass choking car culture that rips our cities apart in these huge highways and destroys the planet. It's all crazy. Like, I don't mind cars in like a sensible, sane, oh shit, we got to get there in 10 minutes. Call a taxi. Okay, the taxi comes. We go.
Oh, sure. Now you want a car when you have to get somewhere fast.
Yeah,
now
sure.
You love cars.
Yeah, sure. But
then when the Fast and the Furious movie comes out, you stand out front with a sign saying like they should be walking. They should all be walking around.
What would that be called?
It would just be the slow and hiking.
The slow and the should be S and S if it's going to be F and F though, right? Fast and Furious. It should be the frustrated and footbound and frustrated.
Yes, there perfectly. Vin Diesel walking around.
Yeah, like the action shots are just like he runs briefly.
He's like, I'm gonna get to you eventually.
Stay there because I'm coming for you.
Someone's like, don't let them get into shoes or they'll be unstoppable.
Footbound and frustrated 7.
No, I think you're
What would the
clearly
subtitles
okay
be?
with
Yeah,
you're clearly
cars are
okay
fine.
with cars. It's just
Cars
you're
are
just
fine.
saying we shouldn't have to have them to function, and we
Like
shouldn't
Germany.
do
I think
that.
Germany's a good model. I know you're going to say, I want the trains to run on time. I'm saying Germany. But seriously, Germany has cars, tons of BMW. And these people love their cars. They have the Autobahn. They drive 250 kilometers an hour. It's
They
like
love
140 miles an
It's true.
hour. They love cars. They care deeply about their cars. They have a car culture. They have
Transit as well.
They have transit, and it's
Yep.
great. And you can go around any city in Germany, and you can take the train, you can take the bus, and it's accessible and affordable and easy and clean and bright and lovely.
Yeah.
And teenagers don't die every prom. Every prom night in America,
Every prom.
a whole carload of teenagers die. Right? Did you have that in your city in Madison? Yeah, in Madison, we had that every year.
It
Every
was
year.
always a thing where they would ramp up the drunk driving speeches
Yeah.
beforehand
Yeah.
because they're like,
Yep.
this always happens.
But
I don't
it
know.
always happened.
I didn't go to my prom.
would-
I didn't hear about this.
I mean, it didn't happen at thankfully, my high school. I don't remember there being any tragedy.
did you go to your prom?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't there junior
All right.
year.
Okay. Don't
I
have to
didn't-
rub it in.
Junior
It's
year,
cool.
I didn't go because I was in Spain. So I'm not rubbing it
Oh,
in.
okay. Wow.
But I was in
Oof.
Spain, so no big
so
deal.
sorry. I can't go to my prom. I'm in Europe.
Well, it was a year exchange year, actually.
They don't have proms in Europe? They
No.
don't have Spanish proms?
No, they had a party called La Gorda, which means the fat woman, though. And it was just a giant drinking party at the park near the high school.
Oh.
And everyone was just getting really drunk in the middle of the day.
It sounds
and the
kinda like-
teachers
that
were
sounds
there
kinda
too.
like prom.
The teachers came too. It was really fun, La Gorda. It was
Okay.
great. Yeah, word to all the San Juan Bautista.
Did you have to wear like a
Students
little,
listening.
like a tuxedo that you,
No, we wore like, just Spanish clothes, like
Spanish clothes?
Zara.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what are
It
Spanish
wasn't
clothes?
dressed up. It was just like a drinking party in the middle of the day.
Right on.
We left school.
That
and
sounds better
went
than
down to
prom.
this park.
Okay, and then you came back and went to your senior prom?
Senior prom, I went to prom, yeah. But
You're like,
but
this is
people
no
die.
La Gorda.
This is no La Gorda.
You guys,
Dude.
were you that guy when you were in your senior year? You'd be like, guys, in Spain, they don't do it like this at all.
It's
like
so much better.
you lift your glass like this, but in Spain, they do it like this. And you would do
I
that.
probably was like that. I think I was probably pretty.
I could not be that guy. If I had a year in another, I would come back totally as that guy. I'm pretty sure in high school.
Spain. Oh God, I probably
That would be
was
my
like that.
identity.
I don't remember saying stuff like that, but I probably was intolerable. Yeah.
Somebody like goes by with their horn, and you're like, "Oh, is that La Cucaracha?" I recognize
That's
it because I
Mexican.
spent
That's
a year in
Mexico.
Spain.
That's
It is.
Mexico.
Oh,
Don't
I'm sorry.
conflict.
I did that wrong.
No, it's okay. Actually, I've never heard like Spanish people are not offended. Maybe they are offended, but they never seem to be that offended when people would mistake, because they would be like, "Yeah, those are our colonies."
Oh, jeez. Why would we be offended
We're
by
the
that?
conquistadors.
Yeah.
We took over a large swath of the planet. Like I think more than any other world. They were basically the largest colonizers in the world.
The conquistadors. Yeah,
because I think
bad record, bad rap.
because
sheet.
like England had a lot of spots, and they had like South Africa, but the conquistadors had like all of South America, like literally all the way from like Mexico down all the way to
it seems like
Chile.
England would show up at a place. This is not accurate, but they would show up at a place and be like, "We're like so weak from our journey. Can anyone help us?" And then they would help you, and then you'd be like, "Yoink, this is all ours." now."
Yeah.
But the
exactly,
conquistadors, they dropped
Showed
ship,
up.
dropped anchor, and they were like, "Yeah, we brought horses and armor for our
Yeah.
horses.
And
we're ready to
diseases.
go. Let's
And
go."
Diseases, yeah,
Yeah,
like the
totally.
smallpox right in front of us. Yeah, they were more boss when they landed. We live in California. California's name comes from a conquistador named California, and he named it that because there was a novel, a Renaissance Spanish novel about knights.
Is California his first name or last name?
No, neither. It was a imaginary place in one of the knights' novels from the Renaissance, and it was called California. Cali meaning beautiful in ancient Greek, and Fornia meaning just a place, like sounding like a place on a map.
So California is called California because of an older version of like Narnia or
Yes,
whatever.
Narnia, exactly. California's name
Okay.
is like if we today discovered a new planet and it looked like Narnia, we call it Narnia.
Yeah.
Because we like C.S. Lewis's Narnia.
So if this had happened 100 years later, someone could be like,
Yeah.
Krypton. We live in I claim
Yeah.
this new land and it's called Krypton.
It's just like Krypton, so we'll call it that.
Oh,
Because
boy.
he was going through this beautiful land, and it was this, amazing, beautiful land. And he was like, "This is like California, like that novel I read."
And they're like, you nerd. Why are you always referring to your novel books?
Fucking nerd.
He's like, you just wait. This name's going to stick. And it did.
Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should name a new. Though, that right now scientists who find like new stuff are calling it like Hogwarts. Like they're like, this comet is called Hogwartsia.
They'll be like, well, there was a person who definitely lived named Harry Potter who could do miracles because we found records of him in every language all over the world. Like, for real.
Right, more
you don't
than the
understand.
Bible.
Millions
Like,
of these books
seriously.
are around here. So this is definitely a real person. It's in every language. They knew about it worldwide.
I even got an ancient Greek version. Like to learn ancient Greek, they produced an
They
ancient
did?
Greek Harry Potter.
What?
That was fun.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
fun. I didn't actually read it, but
Oh no.
I got it. I looked at it a little bit and was like, okay, what am I going to really sit with a dictionary and like translate? I already read this in English.
Is that big pile of stones in the other room? Because Harry Potter's a big book when you have it on pages,
Yeah,
but when it's
chisel it.
when it's chiseled on like actual
It
stones,
gets pretty heavy.
I was wondering why you had like a big mountain of
They had
like
big
tablets.
They had big book bags back then.
They abbreviated a lot. They were like, Harry Potter lived and then the end. They're like, I don't know. It's not the whole story, but it's only like one tablet. You can just take this with you.
Yeah, it's like Spark Notes. Yeah, but they didn't have Sparks, so Cliff Notes.
Cliff's Notes.
Because they have cliffs.
What are Spark Notes?
Same as Cliff Notes, but internet
Oh, just
age.
newer.
Internet age.
Oh,
Cliff
okay.
Notes. Well, cool. Well, yeah, let's make everyone enjoy your Earth Day. I know this is coming out probably a couple weeks after that, but
True.
every day is Earth Day. I like think that should really be
Every
our
day you're on
attitude.
the Earth is Earth Day.
That's right.
Should be.
Yeah, Terra Day, really. Terra Day.
Okay.
But okay, so just getting transit is like the least we all need to do. Like we need to rise up and really, I think we need like a World War
Change
II.
the car culture.
We need a World War
This is
II
one of the ways
level
that you could do it. Yeah.
action. Yeah. Our grandparents had World War II. Our generation now needs to have a World War II level action to move from fossil
I
fuels.
feel like they're going to
away.
figure out a way to make a smarter car before they figure out a way to make people smart enough to not use cars. You know what I mean? Like they're going to figure out a
we
way
didn't
to
even-
make a car that doesn't do all the dumb things
Yeah.
before they figure out how to make us.
One thing about the transit thing that I just want to put people into people's minds. So if you stop thinking about it like a public policy wonk, like what's the cost? What's the this? Just think in terms of how much we should spend to fix the climate. If you're like, yeah, we should spend 100 million, or we should spend billions, or we should spend trillions of dollars. What I'm pitching here, the free transit, is one of the cheapest things we can do to make the climate better.
No,
It's
you made the
literally,
case.
like,
It
the
doesn't
cheapest
really
thing. Yeah.
take away that much revenue.
So, and even if it did cost hundreds
It's
of
worth
millions,
it.
it's still worth it. Like,
Yeah.
you have to think of it more like a thing that you want to do rather than a thing that like, oh, well, the bus systems won't be profitable anymore, which is like a fever. It's like a libertarian fever dream.
Also,
that,
how much like tourism doesn't happen because people are like, well, you have to go to
Yeah.
America and get a car and drive
Right,
around.
right.
And they're like, I don't want to do all that. Like, if you go to Europe, you can just hop on a train and go somewhere.
Go
And so
anywhere.
people can come and visit from all over the world and navigate that system. If you tell someone, well, you have to rent a car and then you have to follow all the rules and then you have to
Right.
drive from place to place, they're like, no, fine. I'll go to
Yeah.
somewhere that I can go and walk around like New York or maybe like San
Oh,
Francisco.
good point. Good point.
But like, I'm not going to visit some places, or if I do, it's
You're
going to
not
be
going to
harder
see the
and
biggest
less.
ball of twine in
I'm not.
Punkadori,
I probably won't.
Iowa.
That there might not be a train stop for that. You might have to have a car.
Don't even get me started on high speed rail. I mean, we had a whole other train mania episode on that.
I won't.
But man, oof. But yeah, okay.
I like it.
Well, it's free fares.
Free fares.
Free fares.
I'm
Fare zero.
on.
Every city. In
I would
America.
definitely use more public transit. I know. I would.
Anyways, I'll stop ranting. Happy Earth Day, everybody.
Happy Earth
Every
Day.
is Earth Day.
We'll see you
The
again
Earth loves you.
next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey there. Thanks for listening to that episode of Solutions from the Multiverse.
Yeah, we're back with a little after roll. Hello.
Hey, after roll. Roll that after roll. So basically, we want you to subscribe
Yeah.
and rate and review and tell someone, like take your favorite solution and send it to someone who you think it would like blow their mind to hear it.
Yeah, we love making the show. We're proud of it, and we're excited. We want other people to show. We know that the main way people find podcasts is word of mouth. I know that's true for me. I listen to my friends who also listen to podcasts tell me about ones, and I go, okay, I'm cluing into that. So we want to be part of that chain.
So thanks for being a part of Solutions.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon.
Bye.
Bye.